Hello. Why am I like this? Hi everyone. I have some very, very exciting news. My Hoya bloomed. It's so beautiful. I thought I would go over how I got my Hoya to bloom because it was a bit of a process. So I'm just gonna give you a quick care guide for how to help your Hoya Bella get its blooms, because the Hoya Bella is a little bit different from other Hoyas. The Hoya Bella has thinner, less succulent leaves, so you have to make sure you keep up on watering this plant. You can't forget about it. You need to give it enough humidity, mist it, you know, all the good stuff. So let me tell you guys exactly what I did. At first, I had really bad luck with this Hoya, and it was really depressing because I'll show you some pictures, but I would start to get peduncles and they start to form. And if you don't know, the peduncles are where the flowers come out. This is what they look like when they're first forming. Here. They're like really tiny and small. I'll insert a picture so you can actually see them better. And eventually they'll get bigger, and that's where the flowers come out. So pretty. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 fully blooming flowers. So I would start to get these little peduncles forming, and this one actually looks like it's gonna fall off too. But what would happen is they turn yellow like this. See how this one's yellow? And then probably if I just barely touch it, it'll fall off. No. Yeah, this one's gonna fall off, I already know, because it's so yellow and like dried up. I think maybe the plant only has enough energy for a certain amount of flowers. This is probably the first time this plant has bloomed because it's not that big yet. So I don't know. Anyway, so this is what I did. Light requirements. I actually have this Hoya in a north facing window. It's directly in the window. I'll show you where I have it. This is my north facing window, and I have it hanging up there. Also, let me show you, this is a humidifier, and this is my trick. This is my secret. This is how I got my Hoya to bloom. At first, all of these little peduncles were turning yellow and falling off. I had so many fall off. They would start to get a little bit bigger, and I would get excited, and then they'd fall off. And I messaged so many people asking, like, do you know why they're falling off? This is my first time, like, trying to get my Hoya to bloom, and nobody knew why. But what I did is I set up that humidifier, and it's directly underneath my plant, and I started running it 24/7. Kevin, what are you doing? Kevin's doing crackhead things, as usual. I started running it 24/7, and I noticed that the peduncles weren't turning yellow anymore, and I actually started getting some that were getting bigger. I just need to hold him because he's starting to do crackhead things again. He actually took a bite out of a jade plant yesterday, and he had the worst gas all day. That was the first time he's ever been interested in any of my plants, and of course he chooses a toxic one, but he's fine. He just had a little gas yesterday, and now he's all better, right? He's acting sweet. What do you want from me? Okay, so I just started running the humidifier at all times. The peduncles got bigger, and it actually bloomed. And I feel like I figured it out. I feel like this plant just needs more humidity, again, because it has those thinner, less succulent leaves. That's another way you can tell that it needs more humidity and more water in general. I just kept the humidifier running at all times. Also, what I do is I mist my plant a lot, and what I did was I learned that Hoyas take in a lot of their nutrients through their leaves rather than like just through their roots. So if you fertilize a plant, usually the roots will take in all that goodness you're giving them. But Hoyas, I don't know if it's because they're epiphytic or I don't know, but they can take in nutrients through their leaves. So what I did is I took a very diluted water soluble fertilizer, I'll insert a picture of it, and I put that in a spray bottle and I started misting the Hoya every day. I don't know if that helped it bloom, but I have blooms. So water. One thing I forgot to mention about the fertilizer is this fertilizer I used is a balanced fertilizer. That's why it says 20-20-20. That means it has equal parts phosphorus, nitrogen, and potassium. And when you're trying to get a plant to bloom specifically, you want a fertilizer usually with a higher phosphorus, but because my peduncles had already formed on the plant, I didn't think it was necessary, so I just used my standard balanced fertilizer. I don't know, it worked. Okay, so we went over light, fertilizer, humidity, watering. This plant is a little bit different from other Hoyas. So I have like the Hoya carnosa tricolor, Hoya carrii. Both of those have very succulent leaves, and I wait to water them until the leaves feel softer. So like if you bend the leaves at all, they'll start to feel soft. You can see on the Hoya bella that the leaves are very thin, and that's one way you know that this plant can't dry out the way that other Hoyas do, because other Hoyas are storing that extra water in their leaves where this one isn't. So when the soil feels almost dry, then I water. With my Hoyas, I let them dry out completely and wait for the leaves to feel softer. With this one, when it's just almost dry, if there's barely any moisture, then I water it again. I noticed that when I do let it dry out completely, that's when I get more leaf drop, and they'll start to yellow like this, like this, and then they'll fall off. That might be another reason why my peduncles were all falling off in the beginning. So make sure that if you are trying to get this plant to bloom, don't let it dry out completely. When a plant is flowering, it uses up more water than it normally does also. So you have to water your plants more often anyway. But this one needs a little extra. Still let it get pretty dry, but just don't let it get like bone dry where you lift it up and it feels like nothing, like there's no weight left to it. That's basically it. That's all I have for the Hoya bella. I'm just really happy that I have these blooms. They're like the prettiest flowers I think I've ever seen. I love them, and I hope I get more peduncles. I noticed when I put the humidifier underneath this plant, like a week or two later, I looked at it and I was like examining the plant, and I had 12 more peduncles just after a couple weeks of having the humidifier under it. So I really think that that was like the turning point for this plant and for this plant blooming. So I'm really happy. They're so pretty. I like can't believe that I have these flowers, right? Okay, thanks for watching, and if I have anything else exciting happen, I'll make another video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. They're so so tolerant of me. Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. And we hope that your Hoyas bloom for you. Right? Okay, bye.